Hello and welcome. My name is Alan, and today we're going over something I would have figured was common sense for a lot of people, but apparently there has been such powerful brainwashing in America that people don't seem to realize it. Many of the values of Jesus are socialist. Think about this. He is not big on love of money, capitalist greed, you know, making money just to make money. He believes everybody should have the right to good health care, good food. No one should starve, no one should suffer because they aren't rich. It's not that he's against money itself. He's like, you can make money. I understand the need for it, but when you delve deep into a greed for money, that's equal to idolatry. You know, I think it was one of the Ten Commandments, thou shalt have no gods or idols before me. And if you're, there to seek monetary gain just out of the desire to make more money, then you're breaking Christian commandment. Let's get this out of the way. I'm not even Christian, but even I understand this because we've been so forced to learn Christianity in America because people are like, Christianity is what America's built on. Not exactly true. One of the things the founding fathers did was they didn't want a national religion. They thought people should have the right to worship as they see fit or not worship if they did not wish to. So, yeah, that's just a simple fact. But getting to back to my point, most of Jesus's beliefs, most of what the Bible teaches is socialistic values, socialism based, very left wing values. It tells us, to treat those from a foreign land as we would treat those as one of our own brothers, as we would treat those in our nation. Be kind, be human towards them. Yet, you see all the time, to quote Trump, I'm sure there's some of them that are good people, but these Mexicans are bringing in rapists and drug dealers and murderers. Paraphrase, I should say. It's not an exact quote, but that's what he said. It's kind of mixed up. I think he says, he starts out with, these Mexicans coming across the border are rapists and murderers. I'm sure some of them are good people, but that's closer to what he said. But yeah, not everybody that comes northward into America is a Mexican either. There is a whole level of countries. In fact, there's a whole other continent below America. Not to mention the Caribbean islands. But yeah, it's very left wing based. It's very socialism based values. It's, things should be done more for everybody. It doesn't mean that he didn't believe in individualism, but he just didn't feel people should be shunned for not being as wealthy or well off as others. One of the quotes you'll often come across if you start studying this is, it is easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than it is for a rich man to get into heaven. In other words, it's not impossible, but very, very, very unlikely. And many people have tried to look at it as different views through religion. Maybe it's referring to certain types of gates, or referring to uh, them trying to pass ropes through needles or something. But one of the things is, we know there was also a Persian phrase that was similar, uh, about passing. Yeah, they would say it would be easier to put an elephant through the eye of a needle. So the likelihood, in all fairness, is being rich just to be rich is not going to get you into heaven. There's other things that you must have, must your personality, your kindness, you know, you must be humble. And then another one you'll often see, Jesus kicked over the money changers' table in the temple. It wasn't that he was solely against money changers. He understands that, you know, this is a form of trade and so on. But the thing was, they were using that money in a house of worship. They were doing that in a place of worship, and he felt that was the wrong thing. And again, we can go back to the commandments: "Thou shalt have no idols or worship before me." Now, part of the problem is nowadays there is so many definitions of socialism. What I'm talking about is a collectivism, making sure no one's left behind. And the reason I kind of dug into this, that I wanted to talk about this, is with the Republican push through the U.S. House of a bill to denounce socialism and its leaders, Joseph Stalin. Technically, it was supposed to be communist, but even that wasn't communism. He's a dictator. Period. They also mentioned Pol Pot, uh, Mao Zedong. Who's the other one they mentioned? They mentioned, Fidel Castro. None of them were purely socialist. They had socialist ideas, maybe, but none of them were true socialists in the form of the word. But because we've set upon this altering of terms, you know, we now have them as a form of socialism instead of, no, they weren't socialism. They were dictatorships with certain forms of socialism. But if you ever notice, the forms of socialism they do are good. I forget what it was. I think it was like medical care and stuff, medical care in schools in Cuba. They weren't going to charge you out the hind end to be able to get health care. But in America, gotta make that money. So we've got people in debt just because they aren't rich, but have to go to hospitals for care. But if you look back and read your Bible, read other holy books, socialism and socialism values are always something that's expressed through many of the prophets and speakers of these books. But, we have people trying to proclaim, no, it was all about capitalism. Capitalism was good. Capitalism's the good stuff. We got people dying in huge numbers from capitalism. Yes, there are some communist or socialist leaders But again, like I said, they're not really socialist communists. They're dictatorships with certain socialist ideas, but even those weren't properly installed. It's, yeah. Jesus was closer to socialism than he was capitalism. It's all about helping everybody than improving one's fiscal station in life. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about that for a little bit. I'll go ahead and post some links in the description below the video. But as always, educate thyself, think, read, study, learn. Someone tries to tell you something you have trouble believing, ask them to cite their sources. I'll see you all in the next video. Until then, later.